beginners. Welcome to Second Life by Loff, where I help everyone discover Second Life diversity and many possibilities. And I try to make your life with useful content easier, faster, and cheaper in Second Life. Today, we're going to see the difference and all the points that make the difference. Then you can choose between Second Life and Opensim, which is a very similar type of virtual worlds. If you find this video useful, please hit the like and the subscription. If you find the whole channel useful, and if you want to join our Second Life community in a sim we have, which is Ibiza Life, feel free to visit. It's all in the description, and join the SL group, and you can enjoy many stuff for free in Ibiza Life. If you want to get deeper involved, really help our community grow and develop, engaging in activities in Ibiza Life, you can follow my Patreon also in the description, and then you will get rewarded with resources in Ibiza Life and help from us. So let's start distinguishing these two types of virtual worlds. Many people from Second Life, it's so much engaged in Second Life, they never heard, they didn't never care about Opensim. Some people heard about it, but they are also so much engaged in Second Life, they never tried Opensim. Opensim is pretty much like Second Life. It works the same way, worlds and viewers, very, very, very similar in general. And you can go right away now, just like in Second Life, for free to a grid, create your avatar, blah, 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 for free, download the viewer Firestorm for free, and start looking around and meeting people and doing whatever you do in Second Life, also in Opensim. So can you take your Second Life avatar into Opensim and your stuff? Unfortunately not, because many people would prefer to be somewhere like Opensim if they could take all their lives from Second Life to Opensim. First, because they would get along, so it works exactly the same way, world-wise and viewer-wise is exactly the same thing. The open source code that Linden Labs released was taken by Osgrid a few years ago, and very recently, like we could say 5 to 6 years, it became mainstream and many grids were opened by many companies. In the end, I'm also going to advise you, seriously advise you, two companies that I like, that I tried. I tried many. I saw many stuff going up and down. So believe me, I know what I'm talking about. I've seen many things, and stick with those two, okay? And try it out. So can we mix Second Life and Opensim? Unfortunately not. So you cannot take your avatar, your stuff to Opensim, and you cannot bring your Opensim avatar and stuff into Second Life. So that's out of the way, and it's a choice you have to make. There are many attractive points, I'm going to list them all, in Opensim that would surely make many people from Second Life decide to move. But we all have our lives, our second lives, our inventory, our purchase, our friends, our activities, our projects, our contacts, our groups, our lands. So you would have to start from scratch in Opensim, from scratch. The only advantage would be that since the type of worlds, the interactions, and the viewer are exactly the same, that would mean you would do it much faster. In a way, it's interesting because it would be a new start and you would not be making the same mistakes that you probably did in Second Life. Anyway, mistakes, it's part of life, being the first, being the second, being a business, being whatever. So one thing is very important to remind you. The way the world works is exactly the same. The code was taken from Linden Labs open source since the day they released the open source code from Second Life. And the viewer works exactly the same. You just have to go into Firestorm and download the Opensim viewer. There are minor differences in the code, so you have to download that. It's free and fast, exactly the same organization in the viewer, the same menus, same thing, but it's a different viewer. It's there on the download page. And you go to, you have to choose a company, which means a grid, okay? Imagine there are several Second Life. Each one of them belongs to a company. It's called a grid, okay? And you have to choose one. And you may think, oh, if I choose this one and it's not a good one, it will be then too late to choose the other ones. Well, regarding stability, professionalism, absence of bugs, good customer service, regarding those factors, you really should take some time to choose the grid. And believe me, my advices are pretty much well informed, because not only I tried many grids, I even created my own grid once for a test. But I also saw many other people going to other grids, what went right, what went wrong. And I may be not exactly fair when I say there are two main ones where I trust. Maybe there is other one or two, but these from far, anyone involved in Second Life knows these grids and will pretty much tell you, oh, good choice. You trust those guys. So what's the difference? What are the differences between being in Opensim or being in Second Life? Well, the most important difference, it's pricing. That's what makes someone think twice and think, well, should I try Opensim even if you keep staying in Second Life and evolving your life in Second Life? Should I try to do some crazy projects I was thinking about in Opensim because of pricing? And the difference is huge among us. Opensim may allow you to have several sims together right from scratch when you start your world. So even if you have 4 sims together, you can be doing that by $20 a month, okay? One sim, you'll find them at $10, $15 a month, and you can get 16 sims world, all clustered together. 16 sims, just like the ones in Second Life, Same size, same performance, same bigger amount of prims, and same capability of getting avatars inside. Same thing, same stuff, same way to deal with land and objects and stuff, but much cheaper. With $40, you have a 16 sims world to have fun, terraform, build however you want. So what's the catch? Why isn't everyone just migrated to Opensim? Mainly for the reason I told you before. People have developed their lives, their friends, their relationships, their routines, the what they want, what they buy, what they sell, their business, their events, their groups, their communities, the most important thing, their communities, and their huge, long, old, very expensive inventory. So all of that doesn't make it just like, okay, I'll move to Opensim, because it's from scratch, starting all over again. Only the knowledge will be a plus. So that's the main big difference that is worth considering changing to Opensim. Not only that, I hope to explain you, but that's the main one, the real one that many people thought about and did it. You have several people that are living in both worlds, and you have several creators and good ones in many types of products that are selling in Second Life and in Opensim. Some even gave up on Second Life and went straight away only to Opensim. Land size, okay? you don't need a calculator. You don't need a paper and a pen to to figure out that if you can get 16 SIMs together with no problems in SIM crossing, just if like it was only one SIM, but the size of 16, 4 by 4, you can have those for $40. You can even find it cheaper, but be aware, because Opensim, you don't go for the cheapest grid, you go for the grids that they all have fair prices. I mean, $40, 16 SIMs, okay? Now try to imagine how much would you pay if you pay for a full region, and those SIMs in Opensim are just like full regions, not homesteads. Imagine when you pay 260 average, depends if it's from the labs, if it's from a landlord, but let's say $260 for a full region in Second Life. Imagine if you have 16 together, how much do you pay monthly? Okay, it's $40 in Opensim. And in the end, I'll tell you about two companies, two grids that are guaranteed stable, excellent customer service, performance, everything working perfectly professional, sometimes even better than Second Life. For example, regarding lag. Land size is the main reason also, along with the pricing. Those regions made of several SIMs, they come together, they are called VAR, VAR, VAR regions, which are variable regions. You can also have only one SIM if you want for $10 or sometimes even less. Some grids offer a free region when you start. But there are disadvantages, of course. Which are the disadvantages of enjoying massive lands with the knowledge you already have from Second Life, same viewers, same kind of viewer, same kind of interaction? Exactly. We could say it's, you can find one or two little things a bit different in the viewer setting, or something you can do or you cannot do, but it's nothing life changing, and it's nothing special. Okay, we can do a video about that, more specific, but it's exactly the same. The way you rent, you sell, you manage land, you res, prims, okay, I think you got the point. Exactly the same, except for the coins, the economy. So what are the downsides of it? Yeah, population. The population in Opensim is growing steadily, not very fast, but steadily growing, developing. Each day you have more grids coming up, some of them closed also, but the main grids are really developing steady. You have every day more people coming in, opening new worlds, bigger worlds, building stuff. So the population is evolving slowly, but you cannot compare it with Second Life, if especially in diversity. Okay, we could say in Opensim you have people from every age, every type of person with different goals, but you don't have such a huge, massive consumer population like you have in Second Life, and creators also are much fewer creators in Opensim. So the population in general, it's not so diverse, and it's much smaller. There is one good thing about Opensim, it's that each grid is a separate way and world to live in, but there is one thing called hypergrids. So people can travel with their avatars from one grid to another grid. It's like traveling between different Second Lives. And one company can have a grid which is not connected, by whatever reason, not connected to the hypergrid. But most of the grids, they are connected to the hypergrid. And you can even choose when you open your world, your sim, you can choose if people from the hypergrid can visit your lands, or it's only available for people within that grid. That's choice, as long as the whole grid allows hypergrid or not. Let's not get into why it happens or not. It's just necessary to be aware about that. So you are not isolated to your grid with the population of your grid. So the huge growing amount of grids, which are like small Second Life companies, they are interconnected, okay? So you can count on many more people from other grids to visit your land if you reach for social media or for forums, or there are many communities online, many places where you can promote your land in your grid to other grids, and that's how people manage to visit the different grids. You can even take your clothes and your objects to other grids. It's not exactly straightforward when you're traveling between grids, when you are hypergridding. There are even groups for hypergridding that take people into travels through several grids, like a safari of grids, which is quite interesting. But you have to be careful because your clothes and the objects you take they need to have a special feature, which is export, which allows to travel, and they have to be put on a suitcase. It's drag and drop in the inventory, just like in Second Life. Nothing special. It's just informative for you to let you know it is possible. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. It's a pity we cannot travel between Second Life and Opensim. So population and content. Content it's much lower in Opensim. Any grid can have their creators selling. You can create and sell. There is one major grid which has a web page like Second Life, a market, a web market, and other grids allow people to be on those grids, which is not that one, and they allow them to go into that web page and buy stuff for their grids. So imagine, basically there is one grid, which is Kitely, that has a huge web page, web market page, and Kitely allows people to buy online on the web page and to use stuff on other grids that are not Kitely. The other grids must authorize people to do that. So when you are choosing a grid, you have to be careful and make sure that grid allows you to go to Kitely and buy stuff. Although you can find on each grid many stores in the world of people selling stuff. Okay, so don't worry if you are not tied to that web page, web market. But it's a good thing because from far, it's the web market with most diversity and choices and competitors and quality. So from far, it's a very important issue to be able to buy stuff from Kitely and bring it to your grid. Or if you are inside Kitely, it's straightforward. Usually there are no problems. In vehicles, it can happen because there are two ways to handle vehicles, planes, and there are some choices. But many grids allows you to have a whirl, and you, in your own land, you have that choice between the way vehicles work. So Opensim, well, it's improving. It's getting much better. So everything is solvable independently of the grid where you are. But many less people. If it's difficult already to get people from Second Life into your lands and projects and events and stores, business, it will be much more difficult to get people into your events, stores, and land and business in Opensim. Why? Because most of the consumers are still in Second Life, and there are, we can say in Opensim you have a bigger portion of creators, because Opensim offers what creators value most: size of land, and very affordable compared to Second Life. So creators jump in, and since it's developing and it's growing, creators know each day more people will be able to buy, and there is less competition. I haven't managed to find in Opensim on the main grids and the web market, I haven't managed to find yet a dolphin that behaves like Second Life dolphins, randomly swimming, even if it's just in one area. It's only those circling dolphins. But don't get me wrong, you find very elaborate stuff and very a lot of stuff with quality. Most of it from Second Life creators. They just tweaked for the code of Opensim. So don't think everything is just like that. It's just an example of something so basic, but at the same time, it means the creator that goes into Opensim, for example, Kitely Web Market, and starts selling dolphins that swim randomly, that guy is rich overnight because there's no competition. In Second Life, we all know there are some 100 different dolphin creators to choose from, each one with their advantages and disadvantages. So that's something to consider. Okay, less competition, more people willing to buy our stuff, if you are a creator and not just a consumer. What else? What else? Population and content would be the downsides. Land size and prices, the huge upsides of being in Opensim. Hypergrid is also an advantage, and there is another huge advantage compared with Second Life in Opensim. That's also a very huge advantage. When you create your world, and this includes terraforming, objects you build and objects you buy. When you create your world and you spend 3 months building everything, if suddenly you want to shut down, abandon the land and shut it down, you can save it all in a file and you just download into your computer. And it's called OAR. That's the kind of, it's a small file, relatively small, manageable. I don't know, 50 megabytes, whatever. And you save everything from your world, including terraforming. You say and texture everything. You save it like freezing your world, and you can be absent from virtual world 6 months, 1 year, and when you get back, you can even choose another different grid, and you upload there your world, and it's everything is there. The birds start flying right away. The textures are all there. Everything that was moving before starts moving right away. It's like restarting a Second Life region in a few seconds, but you have your world frozen in your computer. And that's interesting because you can even build a whole world and save it and sell your ORs to other people. Okay, and there are grids and there are web pages and sites sharing worlds already built. Usually the grids also easily offer you that, some choices. So it's very easy to get a ready done world with the most minute details, even the grass and the flowers and the birds and everything is there. What's the catch? The catch is this one. When you are getting stuff into your world and you want to save it, you gotta make sure, well, terraforming, it's there, it's guarantee. What you build, it's yours, guarantee it will be there. But the stuff you buy to put on your land, you gotta be sure it is export. That's a new feature on everything that it's created in Opensim. It can be copy, modify, and transfer, just or not, just like in Second Life, but there is an extra export. So if you want to buy from one grid to use in the other, you got to make sure that products are export. Sometimes you find a good creator with good stuff, but some products are not export, okay? Because imagine you create a world and your buildings are export. Okay, you create it, you save it, the buildings will be saved. But imagine you bought some beautiful trees that you fell in love and they were not export. It's okay, you bought them on your grid, they can be used in your grid, you put them there, they are there, beautiful. But when you save it, the trees are not going with your OR into save. Okay, so when you upload it again, even if you upload it in the same grid, but in another grid, buildings are there, terraforming are there, everything is there, but those damn trees, they are gone. You must take them from your inventory and put them again. So it's just that, but that's something you decide when you buy stuff, in case you want to save your world. But it's massive. Imagine in Second Life, the main reason to do this would be like you are out of money because the sim is so expensive or something like that, or you are going abroad to study or to do something and you don't have time to be in Second Life anymore, and you don't want to be spending money without enjoying Second Life. So 6 months, freeze the world, keep it there on your computer, and then you buy a sim again or you rent and upload your world again. That would be fantastic, and that's a feature of Opensim with the precautions I told you about. The hypergrid is also a very good thing. So to finish, two things to finish. Who needs more Second Life and who needs more Opensim? What type of user or goals should go along with both, considering all of these that we have spoken? And the last thing I'll tell you about are those two companies that I really deeply advise you to go with if you want to try, even if just for free. Create your avatar, download the viewer from Firestorm, and just go there and visit, just like in Second Life, with your newbie avatar. Well, one of the most important things is if you want to build a business faster, and if you want to have a club or an event spot, if you need people, okay, if you need people fast, build a community, traffic, easily publicize your stuff and get people coming in to buy or to use your land or to go to your events, Second Life is best. It's where the crowd is and it's where you have more consumers, okay? If you are more into creating big projects and you have the need for land for whatever reason, and of course, you want to spend much less. Even the same size of land compared with Second Life and Opensim, they're much cheaper in Opensim. In that case, it would be worth it to start thinking about Opensim because there's nothing missing there. It's just another Second Life, okay? Nothing missing there. Now we're going to talk about both companies that I'd advise you to try. Be free to do your own research, check for reviews on other companies, but I will explain you why I advise these two ones. And another thing before finishing with that last tip, it's you will find a stronger spirit of help each other in Opensim. Yes, first because people came from Second Life, they are trying something new and they know how hard it is to start, and people are much willing to help, much less trolling in Opensim. Trolls love Second Life where all the crowd is. Sharing content, okay? You have whole sims, they are cheap as hell. So you have whole sims, they are just malls with quality freebies, and you can visit them and copy them and offer them to other people. So there are more resources on that side and more people willing to help each other. Some business can also be very different from one place to the other. Consider this, Second Life, it's expensive. Okay, people can tell me, why are you calling it expensive? You don't know how much it costs to have servers. You don't know how much it costs to pay all the workers inside Lina Labs. You don't know how much it costs to do customer services. So how can you say it's expensive? Well, you have companies dealing with Opensim for a few years, and they are growing, and they are asking $20 for 4 sims together, when Second Life asks almost $300 for one sim alone. Okay, and the capability of Opensim sims, they are called regions. It's the same. It's like a full region. Okay, server-wise, number of avatars-wise, prims are more. So, for example, it's very easy to find one sim with 50,000 prims, or sometimes it's only 10,000 prims, but you can easily go for 4 sims together, a VAR region of 4 regions, for $20 or $30 or whatever, and it already allows you 100,000 sims prims. Okay, so the land is much bigger. Of course, the prims are not like 16 regions, 1 million prims, but it's 16 regions, 200,000 prims. So you are used to save prims in Second Life, so you won't have problems with prims. So regarding server service maintenance costs, it's the same thing. Of course, Lina Labs has a whole structure of marketing, of customer service, because they also have more people paying in. But if those companies do very well and they are developing and they've been around for a while and they are growing with sims at $20, we cannot stop thinking that Second Life still selling sims at $300. They could do it cheaper. They could. I mean, 320. Come on. Okay. Oh, more people. Yes, but Second Life has more people to deal with, but it has more people paying rent also. So, and premium ship. And most Opensim doesn't have premium ship. It's just you're there, you are a user for free, or you are creating and you have your land. So server technology in 2003, when Second Life started, was one thing. Now you have cloud servers, you have Amazon, you have your server performance, availability, and maintenance. It's much, much, much cheaper. Okay, if you needed to ask $300 for a sim, those Opensim companies would not survive with $20 per sim, okay, or 40 with 16 sims, and they offer the same performance. So yeah, Second Life is expensive. We can call it expensive nowadays. They should cut even more, but that's for another video. But this said, which are the companies you should go for in Opensim, and a bit of their differences. Well, 2 names, Kitely, it will all be on the description, Kitely, and DG Worlds, it ends with a Z. It will be on the description. Why? Because these are the only 2 companies that I tried. I had regions there, projects. I also tried other ones, so I know what I'm talking about. This is a very well-informed tip and advice, believe me. And I'm talking about years, not try that stuff for a few weeks, okay? Years doing stuff there. So it's a very well-informed advice I can give you. And those are the only 2 grids that I see. They are coherent, they are steady, they have their foot on the ground, they are developing, they are professional, very much professional in how they deal with Opensim. And come on, if you're paying $20 for a sim, you're not gonna go for a cheesy, fishy grid just because it's $5 less and you're paying 15. Come on, you don't have to pay $300 anymore for a sim. Come on, at least try to, don't only think about cheaper, okay? Not always cheaper is better, as everybody should know. So what's the difference between Kitely and DigiWorlds? There are many differences. The main difference is that Kitely regions, Kitely sims or regions, when you are not there and nobody's there, they close. And when somebody wants to go in, you or your friends, they open. It takes 10 seconds to open. It's a bit like it's a nasty shit, like people, come on, I want to go in. It's like, imagine like Second Life regions restarting. It's the same thing. Imagine you try to enter a Second Life region and it's about to restart. Takes 10 seconds, sometimes 15 seconds. Not a big deal. And you are sure when each time you go into your Kitely region, you are sure it has restarted. So performance-wise, it's good. Initially, there were problems because when you have a rental, you need the land to be there all the time, so the rental box knows it has 1 hour, midday, 1 day, 1 week. But and that was not working because the region would shut down, not shut up, also shut up, because there was no sound, and it would shut down. And when it came up, maybe the rental box didn't notice that some time has passed. But that is solved. I know I used rental boxes that were aware of that, and they did the update on the date and time of the day, so that was overcome. You can also, there is one difference I didn't tell you about. Well, it's implicit on what I described, but I didn't drag your attention into it. Some types of business are different in Opensim because of land pricing. Why the hell would someone pay $20 to rent a parcel of land on your world if they can pay $20 to have their own world right away, right there? So many of the reasons people in Second Life can rent or sub-rent their subdivided parcels, stores or artboards or whatever, many of those reasons is because land is expensive in Second Life, and people look for places that are not chaos, they are not mainland chaotic stuff, they are regions organized with a purpose and a theme, but they are smaller parcels and they become cheaper. But if everybody was rich, filthy rich in Second Life, everybody would have their own sim or 4 sims together or whatever, of course. So being so cheap makes it a bit different, the land, everything related with land, because it's very easy for everyone to have huge lands, and it's very easy for everyone to have free worlds already built and drop them on their land, and there you go. It's not original, but it's a nice built world right there. So you could say, oh yeah, they have very cheap lands, but they don't know how to build. No, it's easy to get the buildings there. So be aware of that, especially if you are intending in having a land service. Of course, land is not just the land, the terrain. Because remember, it's cheaper for them to have land, but it's also cheaper for you to have land to rent. So it goes along, it follows. Okay, so if you manage to build a resort and the resort is nice, is beautiful, well organized, you have events, and you have a nice service, people will go there and pay. They won't pay you $40 for a house like they pay in Second Life per month. But you also won't be paying 300 for your sim, so it goes along. But different amounts, so be aware of that because of the very affordable price of land. What are the differences between Kitely and DigiWorld? Well, we could say DigiWorld is smaller. It's very well run, very professional. The difference are in the way you exchange money. So in Kitely, when you buy the Kitely coin, you cannot earn Kitely coins and change them back. You can earn them, but you cannot change them back into real world money. So you will have to spend your Kitleys inside Kitely. Oh, so I cannot make money in Kitely? Of course you can. You can sell straightforward from in-world and use PayPal to sell stuff. Okay, that's available in the market. PayPal vendors and PayPal renters. So you can have your rents and your sales. I'm talking in-world, not in the web page, and people are paying straight to your PayPal. So money in your bank, but not the straightforward coin exchange. So be aware of that. If you are a creator and you use the web page, the market, then you can choose if you want to sell stuff. Many creators have both prices. They have prices in Kitely coins, and they have the price for the same product in dollars, and you choose how to buy. So if you are a creator, you can only sell for dollars if you don't need Kitely coins, and people who buy on the web page from you are straightforward paying you dollars. And then when you reach certain amounts, you can withdraw those dollars from Kitely and just like in Second Life. DigiWorlds has a more straightforward coin that works a bit more like Second Life. It's much smaller, DigiWorlds. But in both types of companies, you have an excellent customer service and an excellent tech service. I've seen many grids with crazy, beautiful projects, people happy with them for years on end. Well, not years, months on end, and sometimes even years on end. And suddenly, guys, it's closed. What happened? A bug? Somebody, there's this couple were the owners of the grid, and they fell apart, and they are getting divorced, and there's drama, and they close the grid, and everyone is like, what the hell happened with my avatar and my inventory? Okay, the good news is you can migrate to another grid, and you can always be saving your worlds. So what's the catch? What's the difference between DigiWorlds? Well, the main difference is, think of DigiWorlds a bit more like a family, in the sense that when you have to communicate more. When you want to open your world, you reach to them, they make it available. It's fast. You can do it in a few hours, or sometimes in minutes. They can get your world ready. Expect some hours, so maybe. But if you want to save your world for the OR download, you have to ask them. If you want to change your land, you have to ask them. Kitely, no. Kitely, it's totally fully automated. Everything is very explained. Their site it's a masterpiece, because it's as simple and as objective as it gets. You do it all clicking in stuff. You don't have to speak with anyone. They have excellent customer support. You can ask them stuff. They will answer you right away. They have a great forum. I'm not sure if DigiWorlds has a forums. I believe so. But they have tickets and customer service, DigiWorlds also. So it's much more automated than Kitely. That's what I like in Kitely mostly. It's like, I want this world, and I'll pay it, and it's 16 regions, and I want it like this and this name. Boom, it's there. It's there for you. Oh, I want to delete it. I want to store it, not in the computer, but in Kitely's website. It's very cheap. It's just there stored. You won't have those problems of export stuff that disappear. Or you want to save the OR, you go to your world, save the OR for your computer, you close it down, and in 1 month from now, you open again and upload. Everything is click, click, click. It's right there. DigiWorlds, it's more like you need more straightforward communication with them, and sometimes you have to wait a little bit more. But that's not always a disadvantage, okay? I prefer the Kitely way much more, although I'll trust DigiWorlds anytime. But if you want something crazy, or if you want to test something crazy, or if you want some change in your land that is out of the box, DigiWorlds will do their best and the fastest they can to appease your whim. And Kitely not so much. Kitely, it's very complete, very diverse, many choices, many options. It's all there. It's everything there. Straight away, click and get it and do it, whatever. But if you want something a bit on the side, or I want to try this, but then I want to change this, or put together more lands than usual, well, DigiWorlds will try it. They will be more specific on your request. They can tell you it's not possible, but they will try it, and they will do crazy tests with you. I did it. Kitely, no. You have a lot of choices. It's very complete. This is what it is. This is how it works really well. Let's not deviate from the path. It doesn't mean Kitely doesn't have options. They have a lot. But this would be the main differences between Kitely and DigiWorlds. Both of them very recommendable. I will also leave in the description a link to Hypergrid News, which is the biggest blog for Opensim with all the new stuff. I will specifically link the section of that news blog or news website that is related to Opensim, because they pretty much branched into several stuff, virtual reality, which is also interesting to keep up with stuff. But I will leave you the specific Opensim branch, but you can choose like VR or Opensim or other type of news. And believe me, if something shows up in the market or some new tech or something is up, it's there. It's you don't need to go anywhere else. It's the Bible for Opensim and Hypergrid. A new grid has came with new offerings or something different. It's there. It's there. So don't worry. And they also follow. They have a very elaborate way of following the exact numbers of people on Opensim, number of grids, users. So all those stats are there. Periodically, they release graphs and stuff. How is this evolving? Who lost lands? Which grid gained lands? Number of users? All that stuff. Which grids open and closed? Because it's so easy to open your own grid with Opensim that many people go ahead. But be aware, okay, of those crazy grids. You can be lucky, but be aware with those crazy grids like, oh, we are a new grid. It's $1 per sim, and you can do this and that and that. You can be lucky and start getting into a great project, but that doesn't mean just because it's very appealing in the beginning, that doesn't mean the guys behind it are not very aware of software and hardware stuff, and at the first bug they don't expect, everything goes down and they shut down everything and they just don't tell you anything else. So it can happen. It has happened many times. I've seen it happen, and it's a pity when you spend money and especially time building, okay? But remember, you can save your world with those precautions I told you, so that's a plus, because there is always the chance to change your, if the grid has shut down, but you have the OR of your world updated and saved a few days ago, you can go to another grid, create your avatar, and upload that OR on that new grid. So that's an extra safety measure that you can always use. So that's good. But I repeat, don't trust the first crazy cheap offering grid that you find, because hypergrid news will certainly keep you up today on new grids closing and opening. Okay, and there are themed grids. There are grids more on the vampire side, more on the themed role play side. It doesn't mean you cannot do other things in your world. You have total freedom in your world, just like in Second Life. If you have a whole island or a group of islands. One last note. I know these videos are long, but I think everything I have here, it's useful for you to know before you go. To know before you go. And this last thing is very important. Don't think being able to have a 16 region world, it's better always than having one or two sims. I know everybody in Second Life dreams. I dream of having 16 sims together. Well, maybe 9 would be enough, and pay $50 like you do on Kitely or in DigiWorlds. Some grids even allow bigger clusters of sims, like 10 per 10. Okay, Kitely goes. No, it's bigger. They have 64 regions already together. So yeah, it's recently I think in the last year they allow bigger. It's more expensive. It's not $50, but like 64 regions for something like $150. So it's half the price of one only region in Second Life. Same performance, same avatar capability, prims, all of that. Don't always think having a huge land to build is good. Sometimes even in one sim, your visitors can get lost if the orientation is not there, if the information is not there, if the way you built your sim is weird and it's not friendly for orientation. Sometimes people get lost in one sim. It's very easy to not being able to fill 16 sims, 9 sims, 4 sims. It's very easy to not being able to fill all that space with interesting things, okay? Of course, there are many advantages. You can have huge oceans and just land around, and it's just ocean, it's there. But even then, you need stuff under the water. So not always more land, it's more success or more people or more events or more happiness for you. Many times it can be really hard to manage so much land. Sometimes one sim with things well distributed and all the functions there, it's okay, but you can also do it in Opensim. So this video, it's over. It was a long one, but you cannot compare Second Life and Opensim in 5 minutes. That would be mad. So if you have any other questions, please ask me in the comments. I'll be glad to. My main goal here is not to have 100,000 subscribers, and I don't want to monetize this channel. I want to wake up, be happy, and do one video, 2, 3 videos a day. If I don't have ideas, I'll do one, or I won't do it. But I want to keep doing videos, at least one a day. But I think we will be more, and not being worried with this and that and having these subscribers and all right. No, this is here for help. The minute you don't find it useful, it won't be the end of the world. What I'm here to do is build a community and especially try to bring people to Ibiza Life, and there inside Ibiza Life, see how can I help and how people can help back, and together we can develop something interesting for fun, for friends, and for freedom, something that is pretty much missing nowadays or being a bit neglected in Second Life. So this means if you comment, I'll probably have time to answer and try to help on every and each comment, because I won't be having 100,000 subscribers. Okay, well, bye bye. Remember my name, Loff Auer. You have everything in the description, and